Welcome, I'm John.
I'm Matthew.
And today we're going to be going over Unit 6, Surfs Up in Cuba. That's a place that neither of us have ever been to.
True.
But it is a place that I would love to go someday, amazingly enough. But you've had some surfing background.
Yes. I grew up in Southern California, so at some point you're going to dabble in surfing. Some people, it becomes their life. For me, it was just a hobby. I was never that good at it, but I did enjoy it for a bit.
The closest I've been in Southern California again was bodyboarding. Yeah, and I went out a little bit, came back in and said, that's cold enough for me. Went right back. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to hear that in Cuba, surfing is becoming more popular. It's kind of taking off as a sport.
Yes.
And the reason is also very interesting to me, as you'll see in the article. But I appreciate the sport, and I think it's a very good way to clear your mind. It's a good stress reliever. It's almost like meditation. I will tell you that. So I think this is great. I think more people should surf. I think people would have a better life if they just surf a little bit.
Well, we actually probably know a little bit about Cuba just because of the history, but what do you guys know about Cuba? What do you think about it? Would you like to visit there?
Yeah, I mean, we have a interesting relationship, America and Cuba. It's not always the best, especially after Castro took over, but it's very close to the U.S. I think 90 miles away from Florida.
Yeah.
So they are one of our neighbors, and it's a very beautiful and has a fascinating history to it. So I would definitely love to visit.
I would visit for the nature, of course, for the 1950s vehicles, and I'm sorry to say, but for the cigars. I've heard great things, although I've heard that Cuban cigars are about average now instead of the best of the world.
Okay. You can still get some of the rum here in Korea, though.
The Cuban rum?
Yeah, Havana Club. Not bad.
Is that from Cuba?
Yeah, straight from Cuba. Can't get it in America.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting point that I saw in this, and I did not even know about this, but surfing as an Olympic sport, I don't know how that's going to actually work, but what do you think about that as an ex-surfer yourself?
Yeah, of course, definitely, because we already have a long history of competitive surfing, and they've established rules and how you grade the surfers and how you score the surfers. So it's already built up. So I'm surprised it's not already an Olympic sport. It should have been probably years ago. And everybody around the world does it. So it definitely probably should have happened a few decades ago, really.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and read that article and then look at it a little bit more in depth right after this.
Unit 6. Surfs Up in Cuba. Cuba is not known for having much of a surfing scene. As a matter of fact, surfers have been considered antisocial misfits. Some have even been accused of trying to escape the island nation on their surfboards, which would probably be more easily said than done. But things are changing quickly now that surfing has become an Olympic sport. Now, instead of arresting surfers, authorities are promoting the sport and looking for ways to support surfers who could boost Cuba's image by bringing home Olympic medals.